Now, I think it worked. I mean, here's what happened. First of all, when we won that initiative in '96 and came back with the others, that was the first time the nascent drug policy reform movement showed that we could play ball in the big leagues of American politics. It woke people up. Whoa, you guys can win something, not just a little this or that, but something big. You can change laws in a big way, right? The second thing it did, it transformed the imagery of who is the marijuana user. I remember when I first started getting involved in this 20 years ago, and I and Mayor Schmoke and others would sort of talk about legalizing marijuana, and inevitably they'd interview us, they'd quote us, and then the photo would inevitably be some picture of like a teenager with a tie-dye t-shirt, blonde dreadlocks with a hemp leaf woven in, and that was going to be the entire image of this thing, right? They pulled the photos out of the 70s to do this thing with, right? And that wasn't helping us to move this thing forward. But when it starts to become somebody who's sitting in a wheelchair, somebody who's got MS, somebody who's going through chemotherapy, somebody's aunt, somebody's uncle, somebody, you know, that begins to change the imagery. When we ran ads with medical marijuana patients and physicians and nurses administering this and their family members, all of you know the stories, and I know some of you here have given powerful testimony about this stuff. But in New Jersey, where we're fighting this and we may legalize medical marijuana this year, you know, you've got this straightest white bread couple that lost their kid to cancer, and when they've never smoked marijuana, but when they get up in front of the state legislature and they start talking about their son who in his 20s who's dealing with terminal cancer, and that when he started smoking marijuana, that was the thing that enabled him to keep the food down, enabled him to move, reduce. I mean, you got not just liberal, you know, Democrats, but hard-ass right-wing conservatives with tears coming down their eyes. They change. They change when they understand this and see this. They change. So it helped change that as well. It changed that imagery in a way. And then also you could talk about marijuana with legislators and they wouldn't just giggle. You know, they would actually know you were talking about something serious and substantive. And it also gave us an opportunity to start talking with legislators where some of them in their offices would say, you know, I think we should just legalize this stuff. And they weren't ready to say it publicly, but they were willing to say it privately. So we began to know more and more who's who and who's on our side on this sort of stuff. So we've been fighting, my organization, NORML, Marijuana Policy Project, Americans for Safe Access, local groups, to try to expand this access, to do that nitty-gritty. And we all know that the medical marijuana is really two things. It is on the one side the very legitimate medical side for people really suffering. And we also know on the other side it's about something else. It's about opening up the door so that people who want to use this for whatever reason can find a way to get it. Right? Now I know, and I learned today, you know, how much the pain physicians who want to be administered feel, they feel compromised. I'm saying to them, I say, look, when I go to a medical marijuana gathering, and I hear medical marijuana folks say, marijuana is the greatest thing, and those opiates, morphine, they're terrible, dangerous drugs, you know, da-da-da. What I say to those of you who say that is, shut up. Shut up. Because quite frankly, when people are in pain, there is no one-size-fits-all. For some people, when I had a horrible thing with pain, marijuana didn't help me, actually, with the pain. It helped me in other ways, but not with the pain. You know? And the fact of the matter is that the people dealing and trying to prescribe opioid medications in a responsible way, they are dealing with the DEA and medical boards on their case, beating the hell out of them as well. They are dealing with the doctor and with the cops in their physician's office as well. This should be more of a movement together. It's not marijuana versus morphine. It's not marijuana versus the opiates. It's about the proper treatment of pain in our society, and it's about the proper practice of medicine in our society, and it's about getting the law enforcement agents out of the doctor's office, out of our houses, out of our backyards, out of our bedrooms, out of our lives.